Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. We have a global audience joining us today. My name is Vijay Bhandari. I'm a Chief Operating Officer of Noesis Capital. Noesis Capital is India leading and the largest hotel investment advisory company, which deals in brand search, consulting and valuation and buying and selling of hotels. We established in 2010, and in last 11 years, we have concluded more than 2,000 plus assignments. On the behalf of Noesis Capital, I welcome you all in digital marketing and social media workshop. The today topic of masterclass is social media trends and trick for hotels and resort. For this masterclass, we have India leading marketing and communication consultant Sonali Priya Kapoor, founder and managing director of the Hatch Project. Sonali is an expert when it's come to the social media and digital marketing for F&B, luxury, lifestyle, and travel, and hotel brands. With this note, I welcome Sonali Priya Kapoor for this show. Before we start this presentation, I would request all the audience to post their questions in the Q&A session or a chat box. After the presentation, we will take those questions. Sonali, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Vijay. Thank you, Noesis, for sharing such a great opportunity. I have been with the industry for last 2 decades, and considering the current pandemic, which has hit to all of us, it is becoming really important and critical to really go back to basics and understand what's going on and what can be fixed across. And Engage has given a great platform to all the leaders to come across and share insights because we know that the industry cannot afford the external agencies which they were earlier doing it across. Looking at the topic which I chose was trends and tricks for the social media and the current pandemic, understanding the short term and the long term goals because the aesthetic brand aesthetics which are there, it becomes very important for all of us to know that what we want to achieve right now is, and is it in the brand tonality as well or not. With every trick which we're going to use across, is it going to fall in the same portfolio or not? There are going to be a lot of basics which I'm going to talk about. There are going to be a lot of tips which will be discussed about. It's very important for us to understand that what is a trend? Who sets the trend across? What is trending? Does it even resonate with my industry or not? A simple coffee when raging online on Instagram, how, when, why. It was there in our kitchens. Bicycling across the globe is trending right now. Scooters are what people are preferring. So what made their mindset change was sitting back inside the home because they cannot step out. This is exactly what we're going to talk about. We're going to actually talk about social emotional intelligence, which is very important part when it comes to social media. It is not just about the tools which we have, the opportunities which we have to grab upon, but are we communicating the same thing which a customer used to experience when he was there, part of the experience which we were offering them? Does it entice the customer to come and actually experience within the current boundaries which are set across? Where the restrictions are there by each and every vicinity to look at. You cannot cross the borders and you have limited access across and around. What is it that we are looking at for every person in the city to make the property as an aspirational property to come across? Let it be once. And how are we for the group of resorts or for the chain of hotels which are there to look at how are you interlinking the experiences and how are you actually sharing your own guest with your own property across ahead. So starting ahead with the trends, I really want everyone to score themselves that what do you actually think out of 10? And this is a self-evaluation for everyone. What do you think out of 10 you would like to score yourself as per your knowledge of using the tools, knowing your customer who's there online on digital media, not just the one who's coming to your place, but the global audience because you're at a global platform, who all actually evaluate themselves looking at what is there that they really know about social media. What do they really know about what is their customer watching online? Who is the one who's following them? Have we ever done anything which is according to social emotional intelligence with the tools and the communication driving across? What is the trend which actually came across? How did it swift where it was there inside our kitchens as well? Every dish, every house became a master chef house, but we have master chefs with us as well. What is the twist and turn which happened, and what are our short term goals to look at, and what are our long term goals to look at? When we are going to talk about the short term goals, We're going to basically be highlighting it across that how are we projecting the current situation, that is the first 2 months. We are not going to stretch it to a quarter because we don't know how things are moving. It's evolving every day, every minute. And for digital media as a platform to look at, it evolves every second. So there are no templates to look at. There are no hashtag fix to look at. So if you see anything which is trending, it's globally trending. But now what the game is, it is about your own within the vicinity to look at whom you can pull out. Someone who's just living 5 or 10 kilometers away from your property would still be tempted to step out. Are we touching that customer or not? Are we touching the socio emotional intelligence which is there? I'm emphasizing on it again and again because the current situation has actually increased the intellect level of people, and they have much more exposure, much more knowledge in depth to talk about for everything which they want to experience because they want to feel more secure. Times have gone within months where people used to just know the place and they know how it is and how they need to look it across and just go for a weekend getaway. But now they really go inside the subject to understand how are they serving the food? Is it a buffet? Do they have to go to the restaurant? Are they serving in a bento box system? Or is it something else that they are doing it so that you maintain the social distancing within the periphery also of your property? So these are certain things which have to be highlighted on trends which are there, and how can we talk about these basic things which can actually go across trending. Now, within the current situation to talk about, I'm going to pick up different platforms. But first, I'm going to talk about the communication because I have spent nearly 2 decades on the other side of the game. So I know being a client, what is the pain with in this condition, in this situation, what would be the budget? There would be hardly any budgets to have a social media agency for anyone. But if that is the need of the hour. So how can you actually evaluate certain things at your end also to talk about in sync with the trends? What are the tools which you need to use, which my other friends who are there on the panel would be talking in depth, but what actually hits across on that tool to evaluate that who saw your communication? I'm going to talk about more on that. Let's start with the trends. Trends have been there. Who sets the trend? We set the trend. What is there that we want to set it across? That's more about talking about what the basic aesthetics which we are following. What are the hygiene factors which we are following? What is the offering that we are giving at? The customer is looking at a safe, secure, best offering. Why we would say this again and again? It is just because the portfolio which we have, it's luxury to talk about. It was amazing to see a lot of our international friends subscribing today for this workshop which Noesis have arranged, and also a lot of small town resorts which are luxury resorts in tier 2 also who have registered for this, and for everyone in the industry to help across how need to move across and how to make your own property trending per se. Pick up corners. When we say pick up corners, go into the detailing per se. Now, when we say pick up corners, we would like to make it more experiential for every aspect of the resort or of the hotel. Now, what can go trending? There's not everyone who's coming across. Have you engaged with the customer who has been your loyalist since years, who has been coming across? Let it be a corporate property, let it be a luxury property, a business hotel and a luxury hotel, both can capitalize on this. It is just that how you need to engage it across. Why don't you ask all of the people, all of your taggers who actually tagged you on their morning breakfast? Have you tried this? Have you tagged them? Are you missing your morning coffee at our breakfast table? So the trends are going to be by yourself. Everyone wants to be seen right now on social media. Everyone is missing the aspect which they actually used to have for a break or for their business travel, which they used to enjoy it across. The things used to be just the same. The toast, the omelette, the South Indian section, everything is same. Everything everyone has tried same. But have you actually really went into the depth and detail asking your guests that have you tried your favorite breakfast at home? So these are the engaging things which you can make the trending aspect within your own customer, because there are two things which we need to look at. One, our customer who has already been there, our guest who has already been coming with us, irrespective of the reasons, let it be for their business travel or for their personal travel to look at. But are they even connected? Because everyone is online. You have competition after every second knocking into your own customer with a new offering or with a new communication which is across. Is your communication that clear to the customer? Let's say, for example, we plan across to look at one platform, which is a luxury resort. I am not doing any presentation because for me, this is more important to convey and you also make pointers about the bullets which are there for each and every platform. We'll be in depth talking about Facebook, which will have 45 best practices to look at for every business page and what are the trends and insights to look at for Instagram. Now, when we talk about trends, what is that we have picked up where I mentioned it, looking at the corners where we were talking about to capitalize on those ends. How is it to taking across and which level? Pick up the corners which are there. How has it changed from earlier to now? What are the hygiene aspects you're looking at? Have we really communicated your favorite coffee corner where you used to enjoy how guests right now who's coming in, they are enjoying, let it be social distancing, let it be wearing a mask, but the guest is still enjoying the experience because he's there at his favorite property. Now, these are certain things which can be actually done it at your end as well. You don't need an agency to drive it. Again and again, I'm saying you don't need an agency to drive it because I have been on the other side and I understand what the crunch right now is going across. There are a lot of things which, as a marketer, you internally also can drive it. Picking up the corners and talking about the content which is there, it also defines across that it needs to have the aesthetics of the current hygiene standards which are there. Are you communicating it clearly that the staff at our end is actually using each and every norm which is being defined by the government guidelines? Are we making it easy accessible for our patron to understand that how and from where can you get through? I was speaking to a friend of mine some 2.5 weeks back who has a beautiful resort in Rishikesh. Now, we were just talking about how we can be capitalized and how it can be driven across. Every customer who used to actually come across only for the religious beliefs to look at the property and have a luxury break, but there is another aspect to it. Every customer who used to actually travel to London for their summer vacation. I'm talking about the small town in India, Rishikesh, which is very close by to the connecting metros around, connecting metros in Delhi around. Now, when we were discussing about that, what very important thing which actually was highlighted, the ones who were there in town who used to go for their summer breaks internationally, especially in London to look at, which is favorite to everyone, they cannot step out. They need a place to step out. They want to explore, but they only want to explore if they know about it in detail. So while we are talking about trends, are you making your current property with the communication that is being driven across trending? That is the most important thing to look at. The communications actually play a very important role in this as it clearly defines you're using social media ads, you are using every tool, every analysis which is to be done, a lot of other aspects which are there where we actually look at what is the communication that is going across. They say put a video content, storytelling, and static, GIFs, what not to look at, YouTube channel, influencers. We'll come on influencers later, but these things which we say that these are must to look at. So when we also get briefings from our clients, these are certain standards which they say are must. But what they actually do not look at is they just want that they should get business queries where we understand. But what exactly which we need to drive across is whosoever is working on your communication strategy to talk about needs to understand that what is the short-term immediate goal to look at. You don't want to put an image of a golf course which defines that what a view. Everyone knows what a view. But are you connecting it with the social emotional intelligence, which I was talking about, which defines very clearly the moments people would have been missing right now? It's not just about missing you. People are reading right now. People have a lot of time. Forbes have defined very clearly in every weekly stats which they're giving across that the numbers are changing and numbers are drifting in billions every week. So you have a lot of opportunity across to talk about that. How are you going to drive with the current set which you have? When we talk about communications, the most important thing, along with the budgets to look at, comes across your content bank, your image bank. Every marketer right now would be definitely smiling across because budgets are always tight to look at. But yes, when the budgets were open, we were given the most luxurious photo shoots and video shoots which were given across. But now in the current scenario, we can't afford a very big shoot to look across, but then also we need to drive content to communicate it to our audience that what are we doing, what are the norms which we are following across. There are certain options which are there. You can look at very economical photographer, but to look at what is organically moving across is the real-time content also, which you're putting across. IGTV videos have really picked up. If you talk about Instagram, IGTV videos give the authenticity to a customer who is watching it live. You may go blurry in your network, but the greenery will still entice the customer to actually consider the property. There is where you drive it across. Make it real. Make them feel connected. It's not just about images. It is not just about sunset which you're showing across. It's not just about the breakfast. It's about how is it knitted across with your positioning and profiling to look at. There are a lot of media plans, social media plans, which I have personally seen and asked my friends in the industry that, okay, tell me that what made you drive this plan? Because a lot of things. So today we are covering food, today we are covering beverage, and then we are covering the interiors. It's not about that. The trick is that how are you knitting it across? Are you engaging your customer or not? If one day you are just talking about one aspect, the whole day touch the same aspect, do you need to fight with your GMs, marketers to define them? What is the importance? The social emotional intelligence comes here. You are connecting with your follower on the same point, bang, bang, bang. It is that simple. He can miss it once, he can miss it twice, but he cannot miss it thrice. So there where the game lies in. This is an organic reach to your current platform which you're using across. This is not that you have to run ads. However, if you have budgets, then you should look at running the ads. There are the least budgets to look at, and then you need to understand what is the prime time to run an ad also, which actually hits across at the exact time where your maximum number of audience organically is there on your page. Now, these are the back end things which are there. So when we talk about the knitting of the content which is there, communication is the most important thing, and then comes your content bank. How are you using your current content bank to look at? How are you stitching it across with the current situation which is there? Five top trends to look at, which will follow and which will continue till next few months to talk about, which you can actually continue for this year. It's about go green. Go green, go green. Everyone is sitting inside four walls. How are you capitalizing on the greens which are actually there at your property? Now, when we talk about greens, you need to drive this content in your communication which you're planning across to drive it through your social media ads. That's like the most important trend to look at. For every country, there is some communication which the presidents and the prime ministers are communicating. How is it resonating to us? Now, that's the trend which actually goes across because a lot of platforms, the hashtags are trending. And how you are following the brand aesthetics is also as per your government, your proper society norms which you're looking at. You are following that. Why are you not capitalizing on that? That is where comes the trend. Then also comes that metaphoric design concept. Now, it is easy to say that there is a creative which is moving across, but looking at what is the consumer demanding as a relevance to look at. When we are talking about trends, do feel this thing, what you want to communicate, but what the customer right now is seeking across, because that is where your conversions are going to happen. We have closed a lot of bookings through social media ads by not running a social media campaigns, by not running the ads, by just following the trends, which actually helps our clients to look at that there is above and beyond than just getting a fancy shoot done or just having ads running across. There are tools which are there, ads are important to reach the right audience, but that is above and beyond. What organic content is going to do is organic content is only going to entertain your current clientele, which is there, already registered, enrolled, and the ones who are looking forward to similar properties ahead. So that's something which is there. And then also the burnout. Everyone is working out, where we understand that gyms are shut down across. How are you using the open air and the greens for people to
Speaker.
working
Who's off?
out? There, where it becomes so important to talk about. So these are the things when we talk about the trend. Now let's come to the most important thing, that is Facebook. How important are we considering Facebook as a platform for us? What are the tips, tricks, and optimization to look at where we actually end up knowing knowing the basics which are there. Few of you may be the ones who know inside out the basic aesthetics of digital platforms. Few of you may be masters in it, but few of you online right now would not be knowing that, oh, that can also make a difference. So we're going to talk about a lot of basics because they help in driving a lot of organic content, your search engine optimization, traffic to your website, and capitalizing in a better way to the ads which you spend. Because the whole concept is every penny spent counts, and a penny saved is a penny earned right now. Because even one pesa which you're going to save through these technicalities which you're going to follow, which are the tricks to look at, one pesa per click that can add to 1 day or 2 day to your ad campaign as well. So there where the game is. So every penny is going to get counted. Starting with the basic vanity, that is our URL. Have we checked our URL? Have we checked that does it really has the only connecting of our brand name? Please go back and check. Your agency would have done it when your pages were made, that would have been done it. But did the marketer actually check it later that where is it right now? That's like a basic thing to look at. It's like your name, which goes to your every handle, which actually goes across to your every platform. So to understand this basic thing, it's about the URL. Then past successes to look at. Just understand your page at the back end. Everyone can see insights. Everyone can understand insights. Just understand on a very basic thing that what was it last that really worked across very well. With this, you will understand the audience which is there. A lot of times we ignore the basic part of it. We just have one thing, or if there is an announcement to look at that point we update. And yes, that is our Facebook cover. We only have been updating it when there is an event which is there, when there's an announcement, but or maybe like there is one timeline video which is made, which is the most common with everyone to look at. Is it that which we are doing? That's something which is the face. We wash our face every day. And why am I connecting it with the individuality with the brand aesthetics? Because now you will understand through the basic things that what exactly can entice someone to come to your property. You are not leaving their chances. The social media pages basically are exactly the same how a store or a showroom looks like. Now, I don't know if you all know or not, but your one article in a store is actually kept at four places in four different ways. Now, you cannot use the same creative in on social media with different ways, but how you can trick it across is the game. So whatever you're using it across, play it on your timeline. Mark it down that when are you updating your timeline cover per se. It cannot be a simple template which is there. It needs to be updated on an ongoing basis because the onlooker will never miss the front facade which you are actually showing it across. It is just exactly the signage of your page. So make sure that it is updated regularly. What communication you're putting it across there comes with social emotional intelligence, which you have to play across, which will pump your organic stuff. Pinning the post. Sorry. Pinning a post on Facebook. We're discussing Facebook's 45 tips and tricks right now. Pinning a post is very important. How many posts are you pinning it across? How often are you pinning it across? What is the audience looking at right now? Audience is looking at offerings because yes, the crunch which is there in the market, everyone needs discount, everyone needs offers. Yes, everyone needs it, irrespective of the class. Everyone is looking at a better offering to look at, which is at their favorite place where they used to be earlier. Now, on those lines, to look at two things which will really work well. One is about the hygiene. That has to be the first pin post. The second pin post, which you can actually rotate across, is about the offerings which you have. It does not have to be discounts, where we understand luxury goes with what standards. It does not have to be discounts. How are you projecting? How are you portraying? It can also be the offering of an experience which your patron actually had when they just came few days back and they shared something which is so organic. That can be there. It can be one of your TripAdvisor reviews which is there, which someone in COVID actually visited. So people are not going to TripAdvisor, but they are still posting the ones who are regular to look at because there is a notification which goes to every person who has the app downloaded to look at when they actually step out. That's the tech part of it. But taking a screenshot, posting it across, that's the review which you got organically. You did not have to do anything about it. Then coming across, completing a basic info on the page. Again, why am I talking about basics? Because these basics are going to drive you a lot of organic content online, and every customer is actually reading right now where they're reading where they actually would want to invest their time to go and experience the place. So filling in your details accurately, updating them, because at the times when someone can get a notification, anyone can get a notification, even if we have a Facebook page to talk about, where it clearly defines across how was your experience to look at, how was, is this the number correct or not? Google gives certain notifications which are there, and you don't know how many cookies are there, which are there in your phone or in your system. It can drive such content. So every day as a hygiene, you have to check your basic info because the notifications which you would have also got is actually the same notifications which our guests would have also got. You might miss a lead. Leads are right now one click away. Are we using that opportunity or not? That is the basic one. Then comes across the most important one, my favorite one, Q&As. Are we interacting with our patrons online? It's not about asking questions on Instagram stories. The longevity of content is actually on Facebook per se. Feel good factor, definitely, and driving forces are Instagram. But to look at, are you asking questions to your patrons? Is your chef asking questions? Is your housekeeping asking questions, saying this across that would you like to come and experience the hygiene standards which we have marked across? The communication can be drive across, but the aesthetics which are there is like interacting, engagement. We all focus on engagement, but have we asked something that we expect and revert on? So these small basic things are the best tricks to use, and it drives content online. Then to look at promoting your page, your social media communication on your email signature, in your email signatures. Everyone is doing email campaigns. You cannot spam your guests by sending across some X number of mailers, but you can make multiple posts in a day. So how are you capitalizing on it? What time is your guest looking at your emailer also depends on the communication which is there online. So if you have your links interlinked with your signatures, you need to choose what you're looking at. You want to drive content to website, but the feel good factor right now is social media. Let's accept it will be there. It is going to be there for 2020 because everything is online. Everything is online on social media to connect, interact, ask, and to evolve within to know what is happening across from the trends which are there to what is going across online. That has to be interlinked with the communication going to your patron as well with the emailers. So how are you linking your signatures onto it? Because that is like an instant communication which goes, sure, yes, thank you. There's so many times you reach across them. That is, if you hyperlink it, you can see analysis at your end as well with the number of emails you send and the number of clicks you get. There is a weekly growth insight which all of you, let it be at any level, would be knowing about how insights work. You will see a rise happening at your end organically linked through your email signatures to talk about. Promote your page. Now, when we say promote your page, everyone is interlinked to it. Does our staff also talk about our brand? That's what is important. Running ad campaigns is important, but how is our internal staff also talking about the brand? That also makes a lot of difference because we hoteliers, we be there at service day and night. And how is it? Because that links to a hashtag game as well, which is not a set template per se, but it also drives across the content which we want to show it across. That is there. Increase the transparency of your Facebook page. Make it that visible that if there is a review which is there, you are sharing it with them online. You are not hiding it across because it will give the authenticity where we understand the customer is at times writing such reviews which are not acceptable, which would have not happened, but you're also acknowledging it. You're acknowledging your patron. So that is the most important thing, hospitality, there where it is. Because everything cannot be perfect. Sunday is every day, but every day is someday as well. So understanding that our guests also get to know that whether we are canvassing something or not. If they actually see one negative review or two negative reviews and your 100 reviews or 20 reviews or 30 reviews, it gives them the authenticity of you being transparent. In the current scenario, transparency, why is it important? Basics, which I'm talking about, further tricks, because people want to go somewhere where the management is honest, transparent, of following every norm which is going across. This actually targets across your short-term goals and your long-term goals as well. Consistency of the aesthetics which are being followed across in hospitality are the most important things. So being very transparent looks across really big. Then with all the platforms which we have, Facebook ads really work very well. It connects to your Instagram. It connects very well to have a back end clear depth analysis, even if you're not using any tool from the right end back end as well. My friends will be talking more in detail about the platforms which they're across and where we understand tech very well. I chose to actually talk about the content which has to go, which would be having an ad running onto it, which has to generate business for us because that's what we all are looking at. What about running some contests? It may sound very lame for certain luxury brands, but the contest does not have to talk about a freebie as come stay 2 nights, 3 days. No, we are not talking about that. We're talking about contests which actually knocks at their door. What about your bakeries? The bakeries are still there. What about the other add-ons which are there? You are going to engage your own customer to that level. Pick up sections, pick up corners, what offering can actually reach on to the customer. So there where small things would matter. Like I was seeing a post of someone who visited ITC Grand Bharat and they were wearing the same mask what the staff was wearing because I believe they got the mask because they did a post that they had a, I think, meet and greet, which was there, and there they were given those masks, which were their fresh masks, and they did those postings, and there was a recall value which is there because that guest might use or might not use that mask again. But you have an opportunity. Do not lose that opportunity. So whatever giveaway you're doing, it is not about you getting a mask. Mask is the most important thing right now. But there are a lot of other sections which are there, which actually would connect well. Everyone is getting into the basics. So go back to basics because basics make trend. Basics don't ask for running the ads or spending in money. So those are the important things to talk about. Then the other things which are there about video content, GIFs, how are you using it across? Are you talking and interacting to your fans online, understanding your prime time? Test mediums on the prime time, when it's just working, when our video is working, when are still working. Are you connecting it to your Q&A? Are you having live sessions? Not necessarily you need to have live sessions, but definitely to drive across the IGTV to look at. Connect with influencers. every luxury property does not like being associated with influencers because of the brand standards which are there. There's nothing wrong about it. But right now, the need of the hour is, if you know and if you understand that what is online media doing right now, that's the only platform giving you business, connect with influencers, where we understand that there is an old school communication which is there, there's a new gen communication which is there, and these millennials are stepping out. And these are the ones who are stepping out to look at. So here are certain things which are there about Facebook. I would quickly run through because I know Vijay is actually looking at me because the Q&A session is about to start. So I'll just talk about on a quick note about the tips and tricks which we actually use for Instagram to talk about. Now, when Instagram comes across these live videos are really spinning it across. Please understand one thing. Where I'm a marketer, I've been on the other side. The most important trick right now is not how your page looks like. It's definitely not the only thing. It's about that one individual post which is actually hitting across your audience. That is the biggest trick to look at. It's important to it's important to follow the brand guidelines. What is the mood board which you're looking at, and every aspect which you want to show it across. That's very important to look at. The time has gone of a tricolor salad or a tricolor this thing. How about how is the sky looking from your resort terrace? What is the view across? Are you welcoming for the long weekend to everyone? Now there is no weekend like weekend, but everything is started online. Are you welcoming the patron to come and experience that? That one post has to connect. That one post has to connect about where is it shifting? What are you communicating? And then it needs to stitch across to your page. Stories. A lot of clients of ours actually come to us, and this is a very important trick which I actually give it to everyone because if the industry will grow, we all will grow. So let's share all the secret recipes which we have. So everyone asks like, how many stories are you people are going to do? And to all my surprise, I'm like, we don't know. There are certain minimums which we are going to do, but we don't know how many we are going to do. We don't have a standardization on that because what we have seen as a trend, what we have observed both ends, pre-COVID, being in the industry, being as an agency, in COVID, working in depth with hospitality, luxury sector, lifestyle luxury sector, what is moving across. Which is most important is that one post which is there, use it wisely because your customer will see that. Stories are not just one story in the morning or one story in the evening. No. A lot of times, what happens, mistakes, which the biggest mistake which actually happens across for every marketer about Instagram is, let it be any agency running across any ads, the reposting. Your guest has acknowledged something, and that's really nice. But you have a thread going on where you talk about, which we started about making trends, where you're stitching the content when we started the session. What are you talking? We are talking about interiors right now, and someone suddenly wrote about our food and we reposted. We broke the chain. Finish your content. Thank them. Make a connectivity. Have a throwback. Your own patron would have tagged you somewhere. Put a review about that particular dish if you have anywhere online. Give credit to the patron, to the platform, and everyone is going to stitch it across. That is the most important thing to understand, not breaking the chain. And use that device which actually reaches out to your patron. When you're using a tool, my friends are going to share all those details, but for us, what is important is the communication which is there. Use the tool wisely. Now, Instagram, again, one post is the thing which is reaching your audience. And that is the thing. He might follow, he might unfollow, but you have an opportunity of one click closer to the lead which is coming. It is where the social emotional intelligence works. The ads are only going to look at when they will run, but organically you can get a lot of limelight to look at. But how? Understand your timings. Use hashtags, but hashtags are nothing particular. Those are global hashtags. We need to take care of the range which we can offer our patron right now just because there are a lot of agencies. I know this thing, I'm going to get a lot from my old friends, but because I have worked on the other side, I understand it's not about showing your boss, it's not about showing your client number of likes. What matters is the click, the lead, the reservation, the booking, which is going to come across, because that is going to make difference. Use your every communication wisely. Do not break the chain which you are doing it across. There is no ground rule of doing one story or two story. You have prime time for your stories. Understand that prime time. And as per that prime time, start your storyline. When you start your storyline, you have engaged your customer. Someone who has just seen the last one would definitely go to the first one. But if you're posting it across a repost, they would not come across again, and they will put a skip across to look at. So these are certain important tricks and trends. You make the trend. It's right there. What people actually are doing right now, we have been doing in the industry since ages. Food became trending. Everyone became master chef. We have a master chef. Actually, the ones who have became one inside at their places are the ones who have actually tried and comparing our flavors which we have offered them, the experience which we are looking at. Every house has been started being decorated. Why not to use what the property had actually given them the experience across? Go a throwback to every guest who has actually given you the authority to use the image bank of theirs. Everyone is posting across about throwbacks, throwbacks, throwbacks. They're missing their time. They're putting beaches, they're putting sunsets. You have it all. You have all of that. It's not just about looking at what we were following. The need of the hour right now is to touch the guest in a way where he actually looks at that he has to visit. He has to try it out because it's safe and he's going to have a great time. Understand? He'll come if he really enjoys it. He won't mind coming it again next month because he had a great time and he would not want to choose any other option over this one because this will be a safe bet because it is the condition which is going on right now. So use your platforms wisely, and that's what I have from my trends and tricks for social media for all my hospitality friends. Vijay, over to you.
Thanks a lot for your amazing session, Sonali. You have shared an amazing thought leadership. So we'll start with the Q&A session. Our first question is from Mr. Rubal Khurana. Social media can be very helpful to promote one hotel. Social media can be very helpful to promote one hotel, but at the same time, it can damage the image significantly with the single negative comments. How do we manage the negative comments or feedback on the social media?
Win your patron back. Win your patron back. Why I say it with such a big smile? Because I have been on the other side. Yes, one comment can really take things for toss. But right now, if you understand, the whole trend has changed. Earlier, one comment, people used to trash, say whatever. Yes, guests want free experience. When they used to do that, now they're not doing that. If you have agreed on something which did not work out, there's a negative comment, you can win the customer back. There is a reverse psychology which we play online, which is if you have one negative comment, don't pounce onto a positive comment. No, talk about the actual aesthetic of that. If there is something which someone has said they really had a bad experience of the food and all of that, start talking about your food. Food is tempting. Everyone likes it. If your image bank supports you well, great, use it. If you do not have an image bank which is there, then use what your customers have actually posted on their social media handles as a throwback, missing your patrons. But the particular customer which is there, that's the challenge of a marketer which is there to win it back online. The communication which is being posted online, how it is being approached, if the guest hasn't replied back, have you followed back or not? And if it comes across, do not work on templates. Please do not work on templates. That's the most important thing. Go personalize. He's not using a template to reach out to you. He's spending money. So there where if they understand that, it is personalized, it's not a template, you win. You are a step closer to win your customer back. Customer is always right. Accept and win them back. And I have tried it personally. I have experienced disasters, crisis. I have won them back despite of not being a part of CRM team, but just being a part of the communications team, heading that division. And I took the ownership that I want to bring him back because I can't have it on my platform where I've been working so hard. No one can write like this. So let's win him back. And when you win the customer back, 80% of the patrons actually write on the same post that you have acknowledged it. That is where you win the thing. So yeah,
Great.
that's
Wonderful.
how you want to
Wonderful,
take it.
Sonali. Our second question is very tricky. Is from Mr. Vikrant Tambe. Would you agree that social media reach is better when you are associated with a branded operator? Branded operator means like you have a brand like a Royal Orchid, Lemon Tree, Fun, or a Hilton Marriott, versus managing a hotel which is independently where you have your own brand. So his question is, would you agree the social media reach is better when you are associated with the brand?
No, no. I would say no. Why? Because brands are big, they're important, but it's more bespoke. Highlight there are USPs for every property. You have your own customer. They have their own customer. Your target customers are different, so
Sure.
they don't influence you. That is where the whole game is. We actually think that our customer will go there, will go there. Your customer, if you're a business hotel, they will never go to a luxury hotel. It's exactly that. Everyone has within their mindset, their reach, what they can actually reach out to. So branded hotel versus a standalone property, how do you think really these small homestays picked up? They picked up, and I know a lot of people from the upper middle class and upper class families who do experience homestays. And internationally, a lot of people, while they used to earlier travel, they experience hostels. Millennials, they experience hostels. So there is a different target audience for everyone. Everyone has their own share. It's just that if we say that if we consider as our audience, we have five baskets and there are five different categories to look at. You are one of the category. You're not the whole category. So there where it is. So no, the big branded properties do not influence your per se. People are looking at to break the ice, experience places where they are confident on having a great experience. You have to just communicate that. That's how it works.
Okay, our next question is from one of our audience. Can you explain what is organic marketing and organic content?
Yes, organic content is basically what you have online present, which you drive yourself. And exactly where it comes like, what is the organic content which is moving across? What are people talking about? We discussed it in one of our tricks that get associated and get linked to what your government is talking about, where every country is talking about different certain norms by their uh, high authorities to look at. There is where the organic content moves across. If you see, what is the hashtag game? Hashtag game is the organic game to talk about, but the reach is different per se. And when we say about organic content, and Vijay, what was the other thing which was asked? Organic?
Marketing and organic content.
Yes. So organic content is what you are reaching across, what is trending online in sync with what your brand aesthetics are. It is basically an amalgamation of what is moving in the market right now, what is the trend for your industry, where is the resonance there, and then putting it across outside. Organic marketing, it is about interlinking. I think everyone missed a very interesting campaign which was done by Starbucks with, I believe, Netflix. What are you binging on? That is organic marketing. Collaborate, associate. That's the thing. You do not have to pay a penny. And the chain which starts, it was beautifully done. Like, what's brewing? I've heard that you have reached the driveway, and we have heard that you have been binging all night, all day. It is that is what we call organic marketing reach out. Alliances, associations to look at that can be done without having any paid reach because everyone would want to connect with brands which actually are within the portfolio of the audience which they offer. Yeah.
Amazing. Our next question is from one of the hotel owners. A very interesting, and I think most of the hotel owners is what they are looking for. What time of ROI, what time of ROI hotel owner can expect with investment in digital marketing, and how many months hotel can restart seeing the result?
ROI to every penny spent is justified on social media, but where the understanding has to be how are you defining the ROI? Is the ROI about the brand awareness? Is ROI about lead generation, which my all friends are going to talk about? But I'm going to give you the insight on this. How are you evaluating your spend is the important. Return on investment. How are you evaluating your return? If you say brand awareness, you're going to see. You can actually see by yourself that where the ad has reached. If you're really in depth, where I actually said earlier that I will be literally killed by all my social media agency friends that whatever was I saying. But yes, it is not about giving likes. It is not about just showing things. While you drive across the ROI centered, result oriented campaigns which are there, let it be paid campaign or any campaign. We have done it in this COVID as well, where we have generated leads online through social media campaign. How for me, what I was looking at for one of the properties, because this is tried and tested and this is going to work, you try today as well at your end, put a brand awareness campaign, and then after that put a lead generation campaign, then again put back a brand awareness campaign, link it across. There has to be a calendar of how you're planning across the things. So when you do a brand awareness campaign, your content, which we had discussed about making trends, what your image bank is, what are you using, videos, gifs, anything to talk about, that needs to come about in your brand awareness, that you are putting down the awareness, all the brands, the social distancing norms and all the hygiene norms which you are following across. You are going to have brand awareness. Lead generation, what is the offering you have to give? It's a foolproof formula to look at. Brand awareness, lead generation, brand awareness. If you need any assistance in this cycle, my details are there with Team Noesis. You may please reach out to them. I'll be more than happy helping each and every friend in the industry for this, because a lot of times every business owner looks at this thing that what is the ROI? I'm not getting the business because you're not running that campaign. Social media is the best thing which is there across. You will get results. There's sales happening and you will also get results, but you have to use it properly. It's just that you can't wear clothes and then take showers. It is just like that. It's that basic. That's why we started with basics only today. While we started our master class, that follow the basics, because in these basics only we may goof up, because the experts might talk about the platforms, that might talk about the tools, but are you even following it? Why is it important for you to follow right now? We don't understand that we can't hire big agencies to look at, but even to work with an expert, you need to know certain expertise on that front. So brand awareness, lead generation, brand awareness, your ROI is right there. You are going to get queries.
Amazing. Our next question is again a very tricky one, and is between selecting the tools and the between the LinkedIn or Facebook. So, what is the best mode of marketing in hotel when it comes to revenue contribution? What is the best mode of marketing in hotel when it comes to the revenue contribution, which actually get the customer booking? I don't know. It's very tricky question. So, you can just answer the first part, which is the best mode of marketing for hotels.
I would love to answer the whole, because
Yeah,
that's exactly what we are living since
yeah,
March 21st
sure.
here with our international clients as well. The best mode to look at is, first of all, understanding your audience. If you're a business hotel,
Yeah,
definitely it's Facebook and LinkedIn to look at, and Twitter. Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter to look at. And as a mandate, every hotel should get onto YouTube. You have to use that content to your platform. Not that you have to engage customers to that platform or your audience to that platform. It will get the reach. It has to be connected to your website and all those details. But understanding if it's a business hotel, if it's a business luxury hotel, if it is a mid-level business hotel, so there are categorizations which are there. Now, as per those categorizations, how we are marking across matters. If you talk about luxury resorts and hotels, it is Instagram. It is Instagram. It is Instagram. But when we talk about as for the last question, which talks about the ROI, which I'm sure everyone with every question has this deep down inside about ROI, you get these campaigns which we plan across. Instagram gives you brand awareness. It does give you certain lead queries, but it is the best tool for brand awareness to look at. Leads come through Facebook. Leads come through Facebook, where you channelize it with the lead generation, where you look at, you have your campaigns linked. You make the customer spend few seconds on filling details. And if someone is spending that time, it's going to come to you. So you have this way that the seriousness of the subject is there because he spent time. It was not just one click because Instagram is one click, so it's brand awareness. When you actually get the intent from the query which comes across, they have spent few minutes. So if we talk about every platform is important for business hotels, luxury business hotels, mid-level business hotels, definitely it's Twitter, LinkedIn, and Facebook. For lead generation, for every category is Facebook. For brand awareness, for luxury segment and luxury hotels, luxury resorts, is Instagram and Facebook. LinkedIn would not entice them that much. Twitter would not give them that much of ROI. It was just like if you have to uh, follow the mandates which are there, you may be considering that platform, but the results which you're going to get across is through these platforms only. Lead generation is the thing which drives you through Facebook. Yeah.
Sure. See, our next question is from one of the hotel owners joining us from Nasik. How we come to know what is trending in the hotel industry and which trend to follow? How we come to know what is the trending in the hotel industry and which trend to follow?
Hotel industry trend and what to follow. I have always been in that category where we always used to be that confident that we are making the trend. So we really never went through to see what the trends are. But with changing times over the years, we also realized that there are trends which you set, and then there are trends which are already being set, and you have just become the part of that trend. Understand your competition, and with the short-term goals which we have, understand what is happening internationally. From my global friends also who are here, even midnight watching this webinar right now for the master class. What is important is the places which have recovered from the pandemic. Let it be the percentage which is not much higher but higher. Follow them, understand them. What have they been doing? Because what they have been doing has actually been the initial one which started, and there is where the trend started. So if you're not setting the trend, you have to be part of the trend. So understand which are the regions which you are taking across to put it as your competing regions. Pull across within the region who are your competing brands to look at, and also the aspirational one which is there in sync with your customer mindset, which is there, where we actually discussed in the beginning, understand your customer, social, emotional intelligence. When you go back to the insights, you see prime time, what is the age group that is coming across, what is the time that they're coming across, which are the areas, is it India, is it London, is it South Africa, where are they coming from? You understand your customer. The guest is going to come back. If not today, not tomorrow, day after, he is going to come back. But it is just that let's have a first hand opportunity to look at of getting him the first place, which is yours. So to look at, follow the competing brands which you would like to look at. I would say it's good to be aspirational, but if you are a tier two hotel to look at, follow tier one to per se, but also keep an eye on tier two properties which are there in and around, and certain international trends. Maybe if you're not following, but everything is online, you're getting inquiries online only now. So
Sure.
we don't have any more travel agent networks. So everything which is there internationally also happening, mark down your competing brands in your competing regions which have actually settled or which they are growing. So it's like an evolving process. So we do not have something which is like a quarter plan now anymore because of the changing trend which is there. So understand, go depth in detail before using the tool. Also understand what content you're putting across, and there will where the amalgamation of the content, creativity, gifs, videos, whatever we plan, Facebook cover, and everything which we talked about lands there. So yeah.
Amazing. The next question is very technical. What are the tips to improve Facebook edge rank? Also, is there is an ideal time to post Facebook and Instagram creatives? I repeat the question. What are the tips to improve Facebook edge rank? Also, there is an ideal time to post Facebook and Instagram creatives.
Understand your backend. Understand your backend. This is definitely someone from the tech who's there, and I love when people talk tech. But there are no ground rules of prime time. There are two kind of prime time which are there. One is which is the prime time, which is online. There are different prime times as per different regions. Tier two, tier three. and the metros to talk about. There are different time zones and there are different prime time as per what you get as well. Facebook gives a lot of insights. Please ask Facebook on the time zones. If we have to talk about Europe altogether, their prime time actually starts from 6:30 p.m. to 1:45 a.m. That's the prime time which is there for Europe altogether. When you talk about India, India has beautiful opportunities of having multiple prime times to look at. It starts from morning 6:30 a.m. to go across. I'm telling you about today's prime time, which is there across, because it does keep evolving. At times, it does not change in 2 days, 3 days. At times, it changes in a day as well. But to look at it, morning 6:30 a.m. to 9:45 a.m. and then across looking at somewhere between 11:45 p.m. to again 1:20 p.m. and then it is evening to look at from 7:30 to look at somewhere around about 2 a.m. Now this is only and only for hospitality sector which I'm talking about. Other industries have different prime time. Like for example, education would not have a early morning timeline, prime time. Education would have more towards during the day. So every industry has a different prime time. When you understand the prime time, also check your backend insights. Understand the graphs which are there. When is the maximum number of your customers, of your subscribers actually coming, followers are coming to your page? Then sync it as per there. Do not look at just scheduling it. Just observe first few days because scheduling is actually good, but it's always preferential to look at because at times you get few new hashtags included into it. So in scheduling, you have one template, you're just putting it across. Maybe something which is there at the last minute you can miss. So every opportunity misses like every click miss and then every query miss. So there is where it would be. So understand first the backend of your platform, then understand what is the trending for your sector, for your region on the particular platform. Facebook is spectacular in giving such details. Just dig in more. You don't need an agency to dig in this more. You can do it by yourself. Just go in the insight section and look at it. If you need any assistance, you can just reach out to Noesis and they'll share the details and I'll get back to you on this as well.
Amazing, wonderful. The I think we'll just take one more question. There's a question
Okay.
from Hotel Owner. Do you think it is advisable to do community? Do you think it is advisable to do community or geography marketing in these times?
Yes, yes. Because our global customers can't travel. So we have to be very particular. Someone who couldn't afford coming to a luxury resort is actually now going to consider us. So our guest portfolio is going to increase right now. Someone who actually thought that cannot afford a one night, 2 day stay worth rupees some 30 grand now would want to do it because he has not stepped out. And he would come back again because he got everything at that time. So it's very important right now, understand as per the restrictions which are there, which are going to be for next few months. So basis that, use your penny wisely. What happens in this is we discussed it in our tricks also earlier. You're going to save a lot of pennies. If you're doing mass marketing, this is not guerrilla marketing to look at. This is a very specific bespoke marketing which is there. So if you're going to have your territories defined, you're going to save a lot of money on the waste clicks which are there. These waste clicks are actually going to add on to your 1 day, 2 day, 3 day excess ads, extra ads which you can get across. So you have to be very particular about the region which you're looking at. How accessible is it from till where you are reaching across the ad? If you're taking 50 miles, can people come from 50 miles here? We're wasting our ads. We don't have to show number of likes. We have to get the queries. That's the thing to look at. Yeah.
Amazing. I think
Yeah.
the last question has come to me, and again, a very relevant question has been asked by one of the hotel owner. Please throw some light on approx budget allocation for digital marketing for hotel. Please throw some light on approx budget or allocation on digital marketing for hotel.
Depending upon where I understand right now, it is very difficult for everyone to shell out budgets, hire agencies, retainers, because I've been on the other side. Like, I'll be really crucified for all of this today by my friends. But I understand the budgets are constrained right now. You have an agency spend which is going on, and then you have other spend of the ads. Now, if you have an agency, uh, You need to define your budget as per your backend and as per your targets. Otherwise, you will not get the ROI. So every segment has a different budget to look at. So if you have an agency, the budget is different. If you're doing in-house, the budget is different. Why? Because you are not an expert. There is an expert there. So when you spend by yourself, you end up spending more because you may not know the technicalities, you may not know the prime time, you may not know the online reputation management backend which drives across where you're going to miss and you have to cover and then you'll spend more, whether it be a negative review and you have to cover it, how we discuss the strategy of putting food shorts and other things which are there. But when you spend by yourself, you end up spending more, and the premium is quite more. It is 30% more, which, as per an analysis which we also received from one of the white papers which were there, which happened in the months of April and May, which defined very clearly that the industry, across the industries, when the social media agencies were removed for the promotions and online campaigns which were there, and when the in-house team had ran the ad, they ended up spending 30% more to the ad spend. And when you're working with an agency, you spend on your ad spend 30% less. Now, why you don't realize this thing? Because you actually end up adjusting the cost of the agency to your marketing spend, but your ROI is not there. Every property has a different budget to look at with a different vision and a different ROI, but very clearly, the budgets are lesser exhausted when you have an agency because you have experts working on back end, front end tech. The tech teams, our tech team works like 24/7. But when you're working by yourself within your internal team, with whatever tools they're using it across, you 200%, as per the studies which were being marked across, you end up spending 30% more by yourself.
Thank you, Sonali. Thanks a lot for your time. On the behalf of Noesis team and from the audience, I thank you so much for your time. You have shared amazing insight and thought leadership. And one request to our audience: we have another session starting in another 5 minutes, so please don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Thank you, Sonali. Thanks a lot. And
Thank you, sir.
yeah,
Thank you, Vijay. Thank you, everyone who was part of the session today. Anything for the industry? It's been 2 decades looking at this current pandemic. Happy to help everyone. If there's anything which you require, you have Team Noises, who has actually created such an exciting platform for the leaders to share insights to actually uplift the industry. So, for the industry, with the industry, please feel free to connect with Team Noises. Thank you once again, Vijay, for sharing the opportunity,
thank you,
and good luck.
Sonali. Thanks a lot for your time. Thank you.
Thank you.